Hello and welcome to another episode of Pareusi's On a Knife Edge podcast. Today we are joined by a culinary legend, author of many amazing cookbooks and regular on James Martin's Saturday Kitchen, Daniel Galmiche.
Yes, thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Nice to meet you, thank you.
What sparked your passion for food and cooking? Is it your upbringing or?
Yeah, that's a big part of it, obviously, because I live in a rural part of France, which is it's called Franche-Comté, which is almost along the Swiss border, where in fact, where you're going tomorrow, Raymond Blanc is from the same region. So, and he's been brought up practically the same way, which is quite funny. But yes, and my great aunt used to have a small holding, and not commercial farm, but for friend and family. And then from a young age, we used to go there, feed the animal, knowing that one day they'll be in a pot. Because that's
too attached to the animal.
I understood that from a young age. Then if you feed them well, they will feed you well. You know what I mean? It's always the same. We need to look after everything. And the farm animals are the same. So, and from there on, I just decided that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
So where was the first step then into hospitality and becoming a professional chef?
Well, the first step was I had a stage first in a mountain not far away from where I live, about maybe 2 hours, in a summer job hotel and helping and everything. And after that, I started in a beautiful restaurant in a spa town of Luxeuil-les-Bains. And I worked in one single Michelin star restaurant as an apprentice for 3 years. And that's where it's all.
Did you go straight into Michelin then?
Straight in.
Straight in?
Yeah. And the owner of that place was himself an ex-3 Michelin star. He was working for a guy called Ferdinand Point, from La Pyramide in Vienne, near Lyon. He was a 3 Michelin star and he was a sous chef there. And his father owned 2 or 3 restaurants, an hotel restaurant, and so he sent his son to learn, and after that I learned from him. All the classics.
When you were working at the, like, kind of flung straight into Michelin, that kind of level.
It was tough.
Yeah,
but very enjoyable. I love it. Because attached to it we had a small holding as well, which mainly poultries. And his father-in-law was a butcher, so we learned how to make charcuteries and all this kind of stuff as well, which was very interesting.
Sounds like you had incredible foundations.
It was good, but I'm part of a family of gourmands, so therefore, you know, my mum and dad, we had a big garden as well, so we knew when to go and pick up stuff and when was the season and etc. We used to turn the earth every year and replanted whether it's potatoes and leek and spring onions and tomato growing, and after we had strawberry, raspberries, apple, and so it's cool.
So I assume that kind of French way, is that normal for the French kind of
in
way
rural France at the time, maybe I don't know now because I've been living here for a while and I don't go that often, but it was always like that, like it is generally in Latin country. We're talking about Greece, we're talking Italy, Spain, Portugal and France. We all kind of the same feel. We always, if we can have a back garden and we collect the food and we cook, and it's always the fact that in those countries like to have a big table with people around. We share, we cook for everybody, you know, and there's a great feeling. Sometimes you wonder why people don't relate to Michelin star establishment as an example. It's because the home sharing and cooking is so different. It takes you out of not necessarily a comfort zone, but an area which you thrive in a sense, you know, because you love it. So you love to have people in, you love to cook for them. And suddenly people sometimes arrive in a Michelin star restaurant. It's quite stressful because there is a kind of an etiquette, although now it's much more relaxed. But people sometimes feel, oh my God, I'm going to a Michelin star. I'm not too sure what to wear. I'm not sure if I will like that and this and that. So there's always a little bit of a kind of a apprehension, I think.
Yeah.
Before you go there. Yeah.
Are there any Michelin star restaurants you've been to where they kind of do make you feel relaxed? It's not too.
There is few, but the one which I saw was much more like that is probably in Scandinavia. They are because the Nordic kind of style of food is all outdoors and or indoors, but with all this kind of relaxed atmosphere. You know, people cook, relax, and it's a difficult one to explain. It's there's no thought. They concentrate on the fisherman is coming. He put the food around. There's a lovely place I have been a few times in Lofoten Archipelago, where there's a place we call the Food Studio, for example. And this gentleman used to cook in Oslo, and he gave up the whole lot. And he came back home and realized he had a small barn within 30 yards from his house, who was empty, and he decided to open a 12-seat kind of auberge stroke barn where there's a U-shape, 12 people are there, and opposite it's him cooking on kind of home appliances, nothing special. And when he's busy, he's got a small, tiny function of 12 or 16 up, and when he's got that, he doesn't do the downstairs. And it's really relaxed, and he talked to everybody in the same time, and people asking questions, and there's a joy around the table. I like this kind of thing. Or auberge in a mountain where I live, it's the same. You've got a short menu, seasonal menu, couple of table outside, beautiful old barn, and it's so relaxed.
I think that's it.
I love that kind of stuff.
You've got like just incredible ingredients, kind of not overcomplicating it, and just maybe enhancing it a bit.
Well, I mean, you just show the produce really in a sense.
I think there's something really satisfying about the process of cooking.
Definitely.
Normally a glass of wine, put a podcast on. This one.
Of course.
And, cook away.
Yeah, and it's therapeutic. You feel there's a good feeling.
Yes, exactly.
And sometimes I cook with Elise, or she helped me in that side, or my son or her son, and we just. It's a sharing kind of feel-good factor, I think. Yeah.
Definitely. It's good for the soul.
Oh yeah, and you buy from a farm shop, which is always better, and
that's one thing I completely agree with. Is even though buying meat can be expensive, but I think now, for myself as well, and a few other people I've spoken to, tend to buy really good quality, like say meat or something, or steak.
Yeah.
Maybe like not every day, like once or twice a week.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
You get better quality.
Yeah, definitely.
At least you know where it's coming from.
When we do like Saturday morning with James Martin, or when we used to do Saturday Kitchen, I say that because we can't do both. But or we do a demonstration, or we do a food show, or this kind. We try to put a point on that to just use your surrounding, use your. There's a farmer's market, go to a farmer's market. If there's a farm and a butcher attached to it, go there, etc., etc. It's very important.
And you learn so much.
And you learn so much too,
And you get much better quality.
Yes.
And you kind of know it's not being messed with in a way.
Let's say messed with, yeah. It's being...
Because now at home I cook a lot, pretty much every night.
Yeah.
And I always try and go to farm shops and everything. And my girlfriend at the start said, just take in mind the cost and everything.
Of course.
But if you buy the right thing, it can work out kind of cheaper. If you buy things...
Yes, it is. But there's also the fact that a lot of people always try to buy the best part of everything. Yeah. That's when it becomes expensive. You can't buy a top ribeye, a stick of 400 grams every day. For example, you can't. But there is a different cut people can...
Yes.
And when it's come from a fast shop, the advantage, they do all the cut different than supermarket. They do what they sell at the biggest price possible, obviously.
Yeah.
They don't want to do small cut. It's not interesting for them. There's not enough money.
With a lot of weight.
Definitely. But I mean, to make a bœuf bourguignon in winter time, you go to your butcher shop next to you. He will give you the right dice of meat for it. And he said, okay. And it costs you a few quid. Yeah. Of course, if you buy a fillet of beef, it will cost you. Of course.
But you can buy like a rump steak.
Well, of course, but people always, that's the same for duck. People forget they always want to buy the breast of duck. The breast of duck will cost you the price of a whole duck. So buy the whole duck, look in a book somewhere, like mine, whatever, and you can do the leg confit, which is another meal. Okay, so you've got one meal done, and after that you do the breast separately. That's 2 meals out of a duck of 10 pounds. Okay, it's £2.50 per person.
It's not much.
No. But of course, if you buy the breast itself, it's 12 quid for two. So it's a big difference. 1 meal, 12 pounds instead of 2.50. Okay, hang on. So it's all this kind of thing, like guinea fowl, for example. Nobody, or rarely, people eat guinea fowl. Why? First, there is no trafficking in guinea fowl. In a way, trafficking, when I say that, messing up without anything. It's classified almost as originally was a game. Now it's like a half game, half farmed. That's the same. It's delightful. You can do two meal with one guinea fowl. You go to supermarket, nobody pick a guinea fowl because they think it's guinea fowl. There's always this bit of snobism about food as well sometimes. Like people don't buy a fish because they don't like, oh, it looks ugly, it must be bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I mean, just talk to your fishmonger, he will tell you exactly what's happened. He can do it for you, you can keep it on a bone, or he will make sure that he fillet it for you, and yeah.
And he'll probably give you the best techniques for cooking it right.
Probably, yes.
And probably sort you out to your price point.
And when it's super fresh, don't complicate.
Yeah, or just grab a fishing rod and try and catch one yourself. I've tried many a time.
Yes, it'd be nice to have a line called sea bass, of course.
Reverting back to cooking and your chefing career.
Yes.
You started off in the Michelin restaurant.
Yeah, and carry on.
And then where did your journey take you? Because when I was doing the research, the list was...
Yes, I worked basically only in Michelin star establishment nearly all my life, which can include a boutique hotel, Relais Chateau, small luxury hotel, Pride of Britain, but all Michelin star. And the other one, again, 4-time 1 Michelin star in 4 different restaurants. But stressful it was, yes. I learned from some of the best in France, Marc Meneau, 3 Michelin star, and Schillinger in Colmar, Alsace, 2 Michelin star. The Roux brothers in London. When I come to the Gavroche, I was 19 years of age.
You had the Gavroche?
Yeah. And I was one of the youngest commis and become one of the youngest chef de partie there at the time.
Wow. That place, since I was chefing, that was something I always looked at, like the
Gavroche.
The Gavroche.
Yeah. But both Papa was there at the time. Michel Seigneur and Albert. So it was tough, but busy place. My God, it was fantastic.
Yeah. It was like an orchestra, like everything.
It was really, really fun. Hard, but fun. And we used to do 2 services. We didn't work for lunch at the time. We used to do 2 services at the night. So we finished quite late. But it doesn't matter, it's the way it works. And after that, so when I finished there, I went back to France and worked in a 2-star. And after that, in a 3-star. And after that, in another 2-star. And and after that, I came in UK. And that's it. I've been here since. I would never knew I was going to come back in UK. And I worked my work through it. And I had my first Michelin star when I was in Scotland. And we were only 6 in Scotland and 18 in England, in UK. Altogether 24 establishment and Michelin star, that's it.
What was the feeling you got when you achieved your first Michelin star?
Well, the thing is, you don't cook for Michelin in a sense. You cook for yourself and to share with your customer. Because I think as soon as you cook for Michelin, your food doesn't taste the same because you focus on something else. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You become really kind of, although I've got this guy in here, it's just to remind me that Michelin is the top thing. But in the same time, you shouldn't be crazy about it. You cook because you love cooking. You love the season, you love the produce, you're waiting for them, and you want to share it. But as soon as you focus, I want a Michelin, the inspector will know, because the feeling of food is like, so if this guy got a Michelin star, that means I need to do the same as him to have one. And then that doesn't work like that. If you know what I mean.
Lose your individuality.
Yes, definitely, and you lose your touch in a way because you're cooking only for Michelin. So your mind is set differently. I must do that, and suddenly your food doesn't taste what it should taste, or so there's no feel within it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I never expected it. I was cooking to be consistent, the best possible we could do to please the customer. I used to go and see customer all the time, and one day it came, 1989, I think, or 1990. And wow, it was a surprise for everybody, but a happy surprise. And after you carry on,
With service? Champagne after?
You just celebrate a bit, and after that you just say, okay, it put more pressure on you, because then you have to keep it now. So
consistency.
You need consistency all the time. But if you do the same than before you got it, which is not easy to do, you should be consistent.
And because you've worked in like 1 Michelin, 2 Michelin, and 3?
3 as well. I work in 2 Michelin star. Yeah.
Did you notice the difference in the kitchens?
Yes, first of all, there's more staff. There's more staff. They spend much more on a decor, much more on a table. much more on a cutlery, much more on everything, the environment, much more on a wine list. They got a team of sommeliers. Then nowadays to have one single Michelin star, you can be yourself and your wife and one guy and can have a star, you know. And you open a simple small restaurant like the one Wilson in Bristol, who just got a Michelin star for a tiny small place, very super relaxed and everything, and you will not change because that's the way you like to work. But some people in top 5-star hotel where they have a chef there or a guest chef, like it's happened quite a lot in London, like when Marcus Waring was in Barclay, for example, or Gordon Ramsay is in somewhere else, and etc. They put so much money behind the decor and all because there's a big competition between all the hotels, for example. And when you reach to 3-star, people think you need to spend a fortune. Yes, it's an ensemble when it's come to that level. And the service, you would argue, does nearly 60% of it, or 50-50 at least. Because without the welcome and the service, you can't have, you know, a good time either. And that's where sometimes some chefs think then people come because of me. They come because of everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. People always think the chef's first. It's not. When you go to a place, first is the welcome, your host, general manager, or the owner. Hello, welcome to my place. Blah, blah. That's already something you are recognized. And if you become a regular guest, you know that they will recognize. Second is the service. And third is the food.
And it all kind of forms
together. Have to gel together, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. You definitely notice that.
Yeah.
Definitely notice that within like quite a few of these top restaurants. Some even if they haven't got Michelin stars, but like you said, the moment you walk in the door, if the service is incredible, like it doesn't have to be incredible, but just friendly.
Yeah, no, it's so important. Exactly, so important. And after that, you just want good food. You see, that's the difference. You don't necessarily after that said, I want Michelin star food. You just want to carry on that journey and finish with great food. And that's it, you know.
A really good time.
Yes.
And maybe a few glasses of wine.
Wine is part of the meal, obviously. Yes. You have to have wine with a meal. It's essential for me. I think it's just, it's good.
And speaking of wine, what is your favourite? I'm not going to pull out like a bottle.
I love, I mean, I've been traveling a little bit during my life, and I love wine like every French people love wine. My dad used to love wine. He's always said to me, you must have a cellar when you can and everything. Okay, fine.
Have you got a cellar now?
A small one here and one in Bristol, yes. So, so we have a glass of wine, or a glass and a half, or sometimes two.
Like a meal, right?
With the meal. Yes, and I enjoy that. I think it's part of it. It's gorgeous. And yes, and I love wine. But the favorite wine, I mean, there's good wine everywhere. Every country, almost, I know, make great wine, so it's difficult. But I'm kind of a lover of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, which is really good. And I love American wine as well. Yeah.
Have you any favourite vineyards out there?
Well, I work for Sir Peter Michael from Peter Michael Winery, so I would say,
I don't know why my voice went so high.
Yeah, okay. So because I run the vineyard at Stockcross, the Relais Chateau there, which is owned by Sir Peter Michael. So I was lucky to visit his vineyard in Sonoma Valley, California, and he makes fabulous wine.
And speaking of wine, I do have a little gift for you.
Oh wow, that's very kind of you.
Bear with me a second.
Yeah, no, that's.
So it's not just knives we do.
Yeah.
But we've also got some very nice corkscrews. So
oh wow.
There you go, that's for you.
Hey, you see?
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Wow, that's cool. That. Proper.
Quite nice, aren't they?
Huh? Proper. Yeah. Ooh.
So after doing.
That will be very useful. So why Pareusi? Sorry.
Pareusi. It's a Cornish word.
Okay.
That means to prepare and make ready, like mise en place.
Okay, like mise en place. Ah.
Yeah, it's a Cornish word.
And it's good to keep Cornish word.
Yeah.
Smells lovely. Because after all, a bit of a Celt in that area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, like there is in Brittany.
Oh, there's a link.
There is a link, a big link, because Les Cornouailles, in French, it's called Les Cornouailles. And there is a festival in Brittany which is from the Celtic Scotland, Celtic Welsh, yeah, correct? Yeah. The Cornwall and France, and they do a big festival of all the Celtic languages and music and everything and food.
Have you been to that?
I've been in a fest-noz once. Yes.
Good fun.
Very good fun. Yeah, and interesting, and you don't understand any of the languages, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes because it's nice. Yeah.
From all your years chefing.
Yeah.
Around all the places. Has there been either one chef or one restaurant where you've learned something that's kind of helped almost form the rest of your career, or like a lesson you've...
Well, you do, actually, you do, because you pick up everywhere you go from a young age, you pick up things which you retain, you know, and that style of restaurant. What is very difficult when you work in Michelin star environment, for example, when I went from a Schillinger in Colmar, the 2 Michelin star, to Marc Menot, you arrived to Marc Menot, he said to me, forget everything you learn anywhere else. Here is different. So you have to put your mind to now their place and their style of food and what they're cooking. You don't forget the rest, of course. You keep it. And you said, okay, I can use that, plus that. And you use that for your base. It becomes your base. And you learn, and your base becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And suddenly, you have your first head chef position. Now it's your turn. What do you do? So you use all your knowledge. You're not copy. You're picking up what you prefer everywhere, and you create your style on that.
Speaking of restaurant, would you ever set up your own restaurant now?
Well, I wanted for a very long time to do a small, like in my region, like they do in Norway, a kind of a, you know, like in here, 10 covers, 8 covers, that's all, and me cooking on my own, and do only dinners, early dinners for 8 people, for example. That's what I would love. With all the produce from surrounding me, you know, everything, like a little bit does my friend in Scotland, in Log Bay, in Isle of Skye, Michael. That's what he does. The bay is there, a fisherman come every morning, he's got his produce, he do a small mini tasting on all seafood, and that's it for the day, boom, and etc. So I would love that. Big restaurant running, I've done it because I used to run I was executive chef of the Meridian Penina in Portugal. We had 8 restaurants. It's a lot of work. It's a headache, really, because it's different menu, different kind of staff team everywhere, from an Italian to a French to a continental to the breakfast to the functional. I mean, it's interesting. You learn a lot for sure, especially in organization. You have to, but you realize, like we always do on our team. Without your team, you're nothing. So whether it's in a tiny, small restaurant or in a big hotel, you rely on team. It's a teamwork at the end of the day. Even when people say, I just got 3 stars, if he didn't have his team, he wouldn't get 3 stars. Do you know what I mean? So we should never forget that. It's very important. And I kept that in my kind of way of running everything during my life, always. And you're only as good as your team, you're only as good as your last service. So that's the thing. All
the knowledge that you've accumulated over the years,
yes,
you've then put that into quite a range of books.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened when I used to run Clifton, and Clifton we had a Michelin star in there, and I was working, and I was appearing on Saturday Kitchen for the first time, which was very nerve-wracking for the first time.
So it was quite scary.
No, of course, but I mean, I learned a lot with that, but now I like it. I don't mind. I'd like to do a bit more even. But and that's where, during that program, after that, somebody was watching it and approached me to do my first book. Charming older lady called Heather Holden Brown, and she used to run an agency called HHB. And Heather said, I'd like you to do a French book. French cooking, typical French cooking, which was my first book. It's called French Brasserie Cookbook. And I said yes, and it took me ages, actually. I was late.
Was it like more work than you thought?
Of course, much more. Yeah. I thought I could do that. I had all the ideas, the recipe, whether it's from family and regional and all this kind of stuff. But it took me 18 months to make the book. And so lucky they gave me enough time. But still nowadays this book is still selling. I think we reprinted nearly 6 or 7 times.
Wow.
And it's still, yeah.
Really
but the first book is very special.
Because it's the first one.
Because it's the first. Because a lot of chefs would like to do a book. Of course, I understand that, but it's a lot of work.
That is a big thing.
But I'm very proud of it. It was cool.
And then after that first one, did that spark or ignite something in you that was like...
the same editor just approached me to do a second one. and after that a third. And now this one just came out in January.
Beautiful.
I love it. Yeah, we passed a lot of time. It was a bit hectic some days and challenging. Elise and I was just pulling our hair sometimes with people who commission us to do the book. But it's fun, and I really like it, and people like it. All the feedback is really good.
I've heard a lot from some big chefs.
Yeah. So it's called Chez Moi, but because it's here, Chez Moi, at home. Like when you cook at home, you cook Chez Moi, your favorite thing. And I think what is interesting, and I wanted to make a point of it, then when we cook at home, we, of course, cook recipe from my mother, from my grandmother, etc. And we pass them on, and we're hoping that my son will come here, and he does. And Papa, can you make that, because that's my favorite? And after that, his son and daughters will do the same. So it's an ongoing thing, and you can't lose this kind of traditional dishes from home. And there's such a great pleasure, anticipation for it. And that's why we try to put in a book on the top of what I like personally, on the top of Elise Gourmand in here, who love croque monsieur and dessert and everything. So and it's a pleasure, and I really love it. We had a photographer who was very new to that. She was, like I said earlier when we briefly spoke about it, she was photographer of the year, but in an overall kind of thing, and not specific on food. So it was very challenging for her and for me. So we both learned from each other quite a lot, and the result is really wonderful. I'm really happy about it. I made sure that we do seasonal. The title are in French during the season, and make sure that I thank everybody who was helping me, and all the food I like and I like to cook. So
it's really like simply laid out.
Yes,
as well.
I don't want to complicate. I didn't want. I love this one. That's one of my favorite. The reason I don't want to complicate because otherwise, if it's so complicated, too many ingredients, and it's too costly, people will not do it because everybody's watching their wallet. If you got a family of 4 with 2 children, 2 adults, or 5, it's very difficult to buy the shopping for all this family and feed them every day. And we really thought about it carefully to make sure that it is doable. And some of the recipes most of them are really not complicated. You can, you don't need, if you don't want to do a béarnaise, you buy it, but you do all the rest of the recipe. I can understand some people don't have the time, but I think people cook a bit more at home now.
Yeah.
So they don't mind a little bit of the challenge,
And like a lot of these, they seem fairly quick to make.
Yes, a lot of them are the only one dessert is difficult to make, but that I wanted to make it because I love it. So. But you see, people don't do that, but it's all available. When they start to grow those beautiful flowers, people don't know that they are edible, including the leaves, to make a salad, for example.
Oh,
yeah, which we do in France. We go in field and collect all dandelions, and we make a salad with it, for example, with some lardon and everything, and an egg just boiled and cut in 4, warm in it, and you make a French dressing and down. That's your lunch. Fabulous,
I'll probably start doing that from now on.
Yeah. So you use the yellow part of the flowers, which are really, really beautiful, and it's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit, tiny bit. There's a bit of bitterness and sweetness in the same time. But when you make that in a cake like that, it's wonderful. Yeah. Make the syrup, you just put them in it, plus it's within a mix.
I'll tell you what I'll do on one of our other videos.
Yeah.
I'll cook one of your recipes out the book.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. So it's important to make a book and think about it, because a lot of books are complicated. And what I reproach sometimes some of my colleagues, and I mentioned that to them, they tend to do a book for chef. So when they ask for a book, but it's only the chef who will read it, so it's not accessible for amateur because it's too complicated. Unless there's an amateur which like to challenge itself. But me, I want to make a book for people at home, for people to buy, for every day. There's no point for me to make a beautiful book for impressing the chef. I don't need to impress anybody. I don't want to. And it's not my thing. That's why it's called Chez Moi. This is what we do in here. And everybody relate to Chez Moi, because you will make recipe that your mom made, and you said, "Oh my God, I used to love that." Do you know what?
My dad's got a lemon chicken pie.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, so that's what we do, and that's exactly what that. And I love the cover. That's the first time I am on the cover. I never done that before. And my ex-agent, who is retired now, who helped me to do the 3 books, said, Daniel, I want you to do a book and French title and put yourself on a picture. I said, okay, I'll do that.
And that's what you've done.
And that's what I've done. Yeah.
It's a beautiful book.
Yeah, I love it. And like I said, every recipe, 1 photo.
It's really nice to put together.
Yeah.
So I'll also put the link to this beautiful book in the description on our YouTube video. And then hopefully...
Yes, you could buy it on Amazon, on my website, and at Found, the company who've done that, Found.
Oh,
That's one. Found. Yeah, which is easier because they print it and they send it, which is easy. That's my logo. You like it?
I love that.
Yeah, so the cloche is a D and the handle is a G.
Just details.
It's quite fun. And the green is because I love sustainability, I love nature, and I love to use the best produce, you know?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you've had forwards from Heston Blumenthal and Raymond Bloch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the 2 of my mates, so they
easy.
Yeah, and the introduction is from James Martin, Yeah, and that's what they wrote. So that's a passage of what they wrote in my last book, which I put in here as well. Yeah, which is good.
You need to go and get yourself this book. You've had an incredible career chefing. You've written multiple books. Yeah, 4, but it's okay. It's enough. I don't compete for numbers of books. If you could narrow it down, what would be your proudest moment in your career?
Well, I mean, it's easy. That's when I got my first Michelin star, isn't it? That for sure.
I guess
it's very special. It's just, and also it's a place I loved dearly because I was trying to buy the place in Scotland. It was a small hunting lodge, and I didn't have enough money, so I didn't. And I didn't want to borrow hundreds of thousands. So yeah, I'm very proud. I did it. And what it's all about, I didn't expect it at all. I knew we were doing well. You know when you do well. You know when you got a great team and everybody, and it's all gelling. The owner was very nice, flexible. It's only 10 bedroom. And we've done a daily changing menu every day and everything. So that's even more difficult to be consistent, obviously. And some of the sometimes we had a short menu, which we keep for a week, for example, but we just change quite often. But I knew that we were very consistent, but I never thought Michelin was not a cook for my customer. Yeah, otherwise I do, since then I do quite a few things.
And then something out of that, Michelin star and celebrations.
Yes, and happy. It's what is interesting, and I mean people will relate to that or not, but when you got a Michelin star, what is interesting, you know you've done well, and your team's done well, obviously, it's very important. But when we used to have the Michelin Gala in Scotland and everything, or even in London, it's a funny thing when you walk in a room and you're part of that thing, it's very different than when you walk in that room as an invited guest, but you don't have a Michelin star, if you know what I mean. You walk maybe much prouder. It doesn't mean you show off and you're a prima donna guy. You walk, you have pride. You walk and you're part of this elite kind of. You know what I mean? And it's all thanks to your team, because we should not forget. Thanks to your dedication, and you feel you belong to it, if you know what I mean. And I've done that 4 times, and I still have a big love for Michelin environment and what we do, and the excellence of it and the dedication, because it's really tough. Passionate, all this, and it's a big thing, you know. So I think about that quite a lot, but I'm not, now I do other things.
Speaking of other things, what are you doing now, and what are your kind of plans?
Well, I do television, as you know, a little bit, not on regular basis. Although I'd love to have my own program. I've got quite a really nice idea, which never been done yet. So we'll see. But I do appearance on different programs, whether it's with Hensley or Raymond Blanc or etc. I'd like to do another book eventually.
Do you find it sometimes a bit surreal when you flick on the telly and then you're yourself on TV?
I don't think. I know it's a kind of. I don't really think about it sometimes, But I guess now it's great to be able to do it. I'm so happy about it. I'm lucky. I mean, lucky, maybe not. It's not luck. You work for it, yeah. But now I do guest chef. I love doing guest chef. So I go to different places around the world sometime or in UK. So this year I've got a couple. I've got one in Portugal next month. After that I'm going to Dubai. After that I am normally go to Sri Lanka in August. I'm doing Bulgaria in October. Elise is better to remember. She keeps my diary because I'm going to Nigeria to do a food show in May. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm doing a riverboat cruise guest chef in France, but proper like a small a cruise ship but on a river. So that is in October as well, I think. Yeah, so we're going together. Yeah, and
are you getting to come as well?
And some of some of them, yeah. I'm doing the judging in London. I love that.
Judging for
chef of the, I think it's a young chef of the year in London. I love doing that. I love to give back to the trade. We've done a lot of things like that, whether it's teaching, whether it's going to work with Jose in Westminster College, or I do food show a little bit as well. I have stopped a few years back because foodies disappeared, and now it seems that I might do some this year. And I'm doing the one in Nigeria, which is one of the biggest world.
Oh God!
Yeah,
you're traveling around a bit.
A little bit. Well, not jet setting. It's a lot of work, you know. And people think. And in Dubai, I've judged. There's a big company called ITI, which is the International Taste Institute. And we go once a year in Dubai to taste produce. That's what we do. For 7 days, we taste produce from morning till night from different parts of the world. People put their produce to achieve the commanded or highly commanded 4 or 5 star, and sometimes it can triple their turnover just because of that stamp, which is very well known from ITI. The headquarters in Brussels, so we go there as well 1 or twice a year to do European produce, and we go to Dubai to do Middle Eastern and Asian produce, to test and to put rating on them, whether we discard them, whether we put 1 star or commanded or highly commanded or etc. It's a lot of work. We taste so much produce.
From doing that, have you discovered some new flavours you've never?
Well, sometimes you really stop on a produce and, my God, this is a clever idea, you know. Said, wow, so good, and some of them are horrible. But that's a part of the tasting. So we international chef doing that. So this year in December in Brussels we were 135 chefs from different backgrounds. A lot of them are what we call MOF, which is Meilleur Ouvrier de France, top Michelin star guy from France as well. Food critics and this kind of stuff. It's very interesting. So do that, and yes, and I cook a lot in here, and I keep busy. But also I really enjoy our time. So that's very important for me.
It's getting balance, isn't it?
I want the balance to be right. I'm not doing any more 90 hours a week like we do in Michelin star environment. It used to be. It's crazy. Yeah, non-stop. So people don't realize.
It really becomes like an obsession.
Yeah, I mean, and people who want to learn in this establishment, they need to know. Then, so I took Claire Smith as an example. There's multiple. I'm friends with most of all the Michelin star guys, and they're all doing well and all working hard. It's not only. I was just talking as a female chef. Yeah. Claire Smith is probably my favorite. But what I mean by that, unless her team is on a ball and ready to rock and roll, she can't do it. She relies on all this to gel together every day. Unified. But every day she'll be strict, and it's normal. Said, come on, guys, let's go. We've got so many people for lunch, and it doesn't mean they said, okay, I've got this food critic coming, this and that. They don't know about it sometimes. And they're not focusing on one single customer. Every customer is important. That's what feeds the place, and she can pay the wages. People should not forget that. As you know, you were talking earlier, you said, okay, Cornwall, for example, this year was quieter, so it's affect all businesses, you know, and we know that. So that's why I'm at, and I just love my trade.
It definitely shows us. A lot of passion is coming out about it.
I just love it. I think it's beautiful trade. Yes,
it's difficult, isn't it?
It's very difficult. You need to be really. It is rewarding. Yes, but at the moment it's not as rewarding as it should be for some people who have unfortunately closed their door because they don't have enough business, and that's the difficult part. I think because also people don't have the money. Don't have the money, but it's very difficult to justify to go out even once a week, because at the end of the month you realize you just spend out of whatever you make, suddenly £800 has gone, which is could be 3 outing or 4 outing in a nice restaurant. Yes, if you go to smaller kind of pop-up or this kind of thing, it's much more affordable, I think.
Well,
So,
hopefully over the future, everything.
I hope so.
gets better.
No, they deserve it. It's a hard work. They deserve it. Some people make a big effort to buy a small place and to try to show what they can do and everything, and they deserve to be successful, you know. And that's what we're hoping. Yeah? Otherwise, yes, that's good. Home cooking. That's what people should do.
I think that's a nice point to end.
Yeah.
And I want to say thank you very much.
You're very welcome. That's very kind of you
Really
to make the journey, and yes, and that is for you. So I'm going to sign that now for you.
You don't have to do that.
No, I want to do
sure?
it. Yes, of course, very sure.
Oh,
So I'm doing that.
thank you very much.
To Dan.
Yes, Dan.
Yeah, and your girlfriend is?
Sophie.
Right.
Oh, that's so good.
Because otherwise, if I only sign for one and not for the other, I don't want you to phone me and say, Sophie's not happy.
No, and the second she sees that cake, she'll be like, Dan, make it now, make it now.
Oh my God, you'll be in trouble.